I'm here to speak about Drupal and Ethereum. Now I can also move slide. So I'm in Drupal for a long time, and I had like 1.5 years ago I had a friend coming to me, and he's like, oh, I create this new application on a new technology called blockchain, and it's you can tweet there, and nobody will ever be able to delete the tweets or censor the tweets. So he asked me to do some UI for this, and it was like basically my first connection with blockchain. So currently I'm working for a very decentralized company, which is about 170 people in more than 40 different countries, working on different blockchain technology startups. And I have the chance to evaluate how we can get Drupal and blockchain combined. What I kind of want to achieve in the session is give you a little idea about what a blockchain is. Anybody knows what a blockchain is, or who knows it? It's a lot. So who knows Ethereum? Okay. So basically a little bit understanding about blockchain technology on a very high level, and give you a little view about what I did in a Drupal module for this. It first came, Dries tweeted about a year ago about like, oh, what does it mean for blockchain technology? Ah, you're there. I added some tweets on the answers of what on Dries' post. There were like some funny and some serious, and I think a lot of them were very true, actually. It became really popular in the last year, I would say. There's like a lot of big news articles about blockchain and how it might change the world and affect business. So to give you some examples, recently the government of the UK released a report I think in January, which scientifically investigate the implications of blockchain technology and what they will have on the state and what you can improve in the state. It's a very interesting report I can recommend. Currently, there's like the Dubai Crown Prince announced that he want to be for the Expo 2020. He want to have like all city documents. A kind of paperless government, like all signatures should be digital till 2020. And also recently, some big consortium founded around Ethereum, which is like one kind of blockchain, with a lot of big players now going there, and everybody want to take part in this. So, who cares about blockchain? A lot of fields are affected, actually. It's, I think, a very transformative technology. One example I really like is the idea of, in IoT, like Internet of Things, when you consider the energy. So imagine you put your washing in your washing machine, and you just tell the washing machine, oh, I need it ready tomorrow afternoon. And so the washing machine is like, has a smart market, like a digitalized market of energy, and it's like, oh, the solar panel says there will be good weather tomorrow, so if you wait till the afternoon then, or till tomorrow, then you get a very good price for the energy. So you can imagine that different devices in this energy field can communicate to each other and find the market prices automatically, in a very, very more decentralized way than energy is done today. I think there's also, to just pick another one, in the sector of foundations and non-governmental organization, there's a lot of potential about, like especially in development aid, there's a lot of money like disappearing, and if you use blockchain technology, I met someone who was working on a project that children in schools in Africa, like kind of like check in the school, and then they get like the school money paid from the organization, so that it doesn't disappear, and not like somebody had like, oh, I have 10 children and I get all this money for their school budget, but basically they don't exist. So that you combine it with identification, that you like really have people connected to the money. So basically, what blockchain adds to the internet as we know it is a layer of trust and value, which is immutable. What I really like about it is this so-called sharing economy people, which like Uber and Airbnb, who like take a share of 20% of every taxi ride, or take a share of everybody who rents out his house. Like with blockchain technology, you could imagine a world where like people actually really interact, and you have an attestation, oh, this was a good guess, it was a bad guess, and it's based on a mutual trust layer where people directly interact more than it's now. And another important thing is the idea of like become the ruler of your own data again. Like currently we like giving our data everywhere. People working on projects like Uport, which is identity provider, where you kind of like have your data, your address, and you can like share it on demand with our application. When you have a single sign-on, oh, this is my address, and then other companies might give you an attestation, like the UK government may say, oh yeah, we know this guy, and we say this address he put there is true. So then if you trust the UK government, then you will know, okay, this guy has this address. If you like there's a talk from Don Tapscott, I put it on the bottom. I think it's really inspiring how many things can be affected. He put it in very nice words in his talk. So let me try to explain what a blockchain is. You can imagine it a little bit like a database of consensus. So every data, you have a lot of database nodes. They're all syncing each other, and they have like they're all in the same state. And if somebody says, "Oh, I like example Bitcoin," it's a first blockchain, and basically it says, "Oh, there's an address, and this person owns 5 Bitcoins." So if you have your own Bitcoin node, you can say, "Oh, I just like hack my software a little bit, and I own 10 Bitcoins." So basically the network nodes will say, oh no, that's not true, and they will kind of exclude you and blame you, you're a liar, and kick you out of the network. So it's a protocol layer which ensures that the data is always in sync. What Ethereum adds to the blockchain is another layer of programmable money. We'll come back to this in a minute. But basically the key elements of blockchain technology is that you have a decentralized network which lives in peer-to-peer consensus, at least in public chains without any central authority, so everybody can set up his own node, which gives you this ledger where you say, oh, this data is like valid everywhere. But the important part is that you need to have private keys. So every time anybody writes data to the blockchain, which can be a smart contract or can be just a value set, he needs to sign it with a private key. So basically Ethereum is open source software, and there is like the Ethereum blockchain, which is a global chain, which has this money called Ether, which is used actually, the blockchain nodes, they're called miners, they're competing about like actually solving a kind of useless equation, but the one who solves it first gets I think it's 5 Ether for being the first to solve this problem. And it's basically an incentive that people actually run the network, that it's existing. And another important part is if you look in your mail inbox, you find a lot of spam. So writing data to a blockchain costs you a little bit of money, because otherwise just everybody would like write everything in there, and the chain will be like huge. So basically, every time you write something to the data to the blockchain, it creates a new version. Like if you have one variable deployed there and you change it, then you have like the old variable, and you can see how it changed and when it changed. So this mystical smart contract. Basically, you can imagine them as applications which are deployed to a blockchain. So once they're deployed, they cannot be changed. They have addresses, and you can call functions in there. I think the easiest way I found to explain what a smart contract is the idea of a crowdfunding. So you can make, even if this is like just like a idea of code, it's not really contract code. You say, when I'm having till this and this time, I have like gathered, for example, like $10,000 or Ether, then move the money to the account and the project is founded. So if the money is like not founded, this contract would automatically move back the money to the persons who donated in there. And if nobody can change the behavior of this contract after it's deployed. So people who like want to donate money are kind of sure that it will be a success, or they will get the money back. So every time you write data to the blockchain, it's signed and it gets combined. It creates a transaction. The transaction always has like a unique ID and a timestamp. So you can also use it to make store signatures. Say, this person signed a document, for example. Even if you wouldn't put like documents itself in the blockchain because it's too much data, but you would put like a hash of a document, like you have a PDF and then you have like a hash saved in the blockchain to say, I sign on this document hash. So basically there are blocks created every, I think, about 17 seconds is a new block created in Ethereum. This all for like a internet nerd like me who comes from Drupal and website making. It's like crazy technology, and it has a lot of things you cannot really imagine in a Drupal site. So besides of being a very young technology, which is like still evolving, you have the problem that this blockchain becomes really big. I'm not sure if my data is exactly accurate, but it's at least 65 gigabyte and it's growing every month. So it's not really the thing you can put on a mobile phone, for example. So if you want to provide a web service, it's at first look it's like very difficult. And you have identity, but I come to this later. And what I said about like hashing files, you may want to have the file storage also decentralized. So this technology is not 100% working yet, but I think it will soon. So all these challenges, there are solutions on the horizon. This is why I kind of like optimistic about starting this module. You have a browser called Mist browser, which like has a whole blockchain, which is like this tons of gigabyte on your hard drive. But there's tools what I use now is MetaMask. It's a browser plugin currently. They're working on making it a JavaScript only library. And it basically connects to a blockchain service provided by Infura, or you can also connect it to your own blockchain node. You can just like add an address if you have your own blockchain node running. But it enables also not yet in a mobile browser, but without having a blockchain on your local machine to sign a transaction, because this is the key thing you need to do in order to interact with a blockchain. So I picked up a abandoned module, which was like a very early version of it, and I found out that I need to redo a lot of things, basically about everything. I keep some structure, but it was based on an outdated PHP library. So I ended up writing my own PHP library. And most recently, I kind of created a proof of concept, how it's going to work. But first, a little bit about what I see potentially with this module. So basically, the identity thing, you have like just the address to connect this with like real people or Drupal users. This is like one feature I think Drupal provides out of the box in Drupal 8. It's so easy to add fields to users. So basically we have identity, we just need to connect it to a blockchain address. And then you can use this data to do something with it. And there's like lots of projects currently developed, especially land registries or document signing workflows. And like in an ideal decentralized world, like every client would have its own application, like a React application or something, directly communicating with blockchain and decentralized file systems. But if you actually look in what people are developing currently, it's like every application has a central data server. So just look. So basically it has a semi-decentralized architecture, which I kind of picked up because my idea is basically I don't want to have any private key on a Drupal server. I think this is like, I don't know how many servers have been hacked here, but I think there's a lot. So you don't want to put any private key on a server. So I came up with a kind of like a circle architecture, which you use like front-end tools, like currently the MetaMask or any other transaction signer. There are even hardware-based signers. And whenever you have like secret data, it goes via JavaScript to the blockchain, and Drupal will verify the data by pulling his own blockchain source via PHP, so that you have kind of a trusted data workflow. So the current state of the module is basically you can add your address to a user profile. So you add the Ethereum address there, and you have a nice verify button. And it requires a Web3 JS, like MetaMask injects this in the browser. There's a dismiss browser, this is the Ethereum Foundation browser, which provides this JavaScript thing. And then you can, Drupal provides a hash which you like sign and store in the blockchain. And then on the back-end side, Drupal can verify that you actually had the private key to sign this transaction. And then Drupal will know that you are the owner of this private key, and currently it just adds another role to the user. So it's a basic a base to create a paywall, for example, for a news site. It was like my proof of concept demo is you could. It's based on one smart contract. So this smart contract is also public, and you could like easily modify it, that you say, oh, signing up will cost you like 1 Ether, or like, I think now it might be even less. So this is working so far. You can check out my video. It's not really targeted for Drupal users. It's a lot of Drupal around it, but it shows what I did. In order to make it a really usable module as a base to implement a lot of other things. There's like some work need to be done in the PHP library level. And basically I aim to add as many as possible transaction signers. I need to create a more usable interface that you can say, oh, I support this transaction signer. That the goal is to support like every browser. I think before before every browser it's supported, you can maybe use it in a limited user group. If you have a community or a foundation says, oh, all our members are really nerdy and they find using a plugin. So you can say, oh, we set up our elections for the board in Ethereum or something like this. But I'm kind of optimistic that, let's say, at the end of this year, we have like much more support of different transaction signers as apps in phones or in maybe even more hardware, which I consider the most secure. And currently, I just have this smart contract, but the idea of the module is a little bit to create a UI, so that you can add in the smart contract. You say, oh, this sign up will cost you this amount of money, and it's valid for this period, and then you use the same transaction signer to deploy your own smart contract from the Drupal admin backend to the blockchain, and you like parameterize the smart contract and deploy it then, so that you can create your own. And like basically this user login function is just a basic function you need to do any other implementation. So you always need to have an account connected to Drupal in order to do like voting or whatever things you can imagine to do with this module. So I think the general acceptance depends a lot of more transaction signers and more public acceptance. I see on the horizon, let's say, the idea of identity attestation. I explain again that like some other authorities, maybe even Facebook, can say, oh, we know this user and he has like confirmed his address, or a government can say this, or any other organization can attest that your address, you put some data to your address, and some other entity attests that this is true. So I think when there will be more in this area, there will be a lot of more applications. I had an idea about field-based voting. I had a blog post about it, wrote a blog post about it. I think it's the idea of just making entities to vote on like projects. Sorry, I don't have a time. Okay. Another thing which is kind of coming back to the beginning, where we created this Twitter thing. So basically, our module at this time just like wrote text strings and saved it in the blockchain, which is I think now very expensive. But the key of Twitter is like referencing other users and hashtags. So basically the problem is if you want to search for a hashtag in your application, you will need to search all the blockchain, because every transaction is like, every tweet is one transaction, so you need to search them all and collect and combine the data somewhere. So basically the idea of read and mirror content into Drupal would be you set up a registry where the tweets are stored in, and then you have a watch process, and every time a new tweet is there, Drupal will like process this tweet, map the users to a user, map the hashtag to a taxonomy tag, and then Drupal can provide listings of tweets referencing all this stuff, and you can do it like as an open source module. So even in a country where the Twitter is kind of banned and the blockchain is available, somebody could locally set up this module on his local Drupal and can verify or get all the data and have the same. This is like, I think, the power of open source software, which I really appreciate. Like creating trust through reproducibility. It is actually just a summary. I think Drupal can be a very good bridge technology, because a lot of projects I see currently developing in React and a lot of native or Java stuff, I think they could be very well done in Drupal, and I hope we get there soon and making nice projects. So thank you. I want to say one more thing. We have a BOF tomorrow, so people are interested discussing more use cases. I'm really curious, like, to collect more ideas. My colleague Eva is here, and we can most probably together answer a lot of questions around blockchain. And I don't know where my evaluation link is, but if you find it, I would be happy. Any questions? Basically, Consensus sponsored my development time on this project, which I'm very grateful. And I just got the confirmation today that I can go on this year. I think it's like. Decentralized file storage. It appeared here at IPFS. It's a system which is, I don't know too much about it, but basically I think we will need it. We would need to integrate it in the media stuff of Drupal, that you can like upload a file and you also provide a decentralized version of the file. Sounds like an interesting alternative. We should look at this too. Like the basic for any other application, I think it's like this user connection. I'm not sure if I understand your question. It's a lot. The module, okay, I think now I got it. So the module actually aims to provide a framework to build other modules on it. So basically the user thing is like the first application module, and what the module currently provides is like this architecture layer that you have a Drupal be able to pull data from the blockchain, and on the front end side that you're able to sign transactions. Yes, but currently you would need to write your own smart contract. But the idea is actually that you, yeah, the ideal version would be somebody, or we have another module. It's called like voting, and you enable the module, and you have some parameters of the smart contract, and you click together your smart contract how the voting should actually work. Need to be integrated in the Drupal entity system, and then you would say deploy my version of voting to the blockchain. This is like the idea.